Hey everyone, welcome back to Mini Bike Mike's Garage. So today's video, most of you may not watch it or pay particular too much attention to it, but it is made specifically to help one person over on the Little Honda internet forums. Got a guy that I've been talking to for the last couple days. He is working on a CT90. I believe he called it a 1977 CT90. And he's having some trouble with his turn signals. And it's so hard to type out all the things, to talk about the different wires and so forth on a turn signal system. It's a really simple system, but you just got a lot of wires that go into play and so forth. So to kind of help him, I have pulled out, I think this is an old set of handlebars off of CT90. And I believe this is a mostly complete wiring harness from a CT90. And basically, I'm just going to run through how to connect things and how to check things for him so that he can go through and troubleshoot and hopefully, get his signals to work. So, like I said, got a set of handlebars. I got a wiring harness. I don't have a 6-volt battery, so I'm using a Schumacher 1-amp battery charger. Old school, doesn't need to have, it doesn't need to sense power from a battery or anything to work. It'll spark all by itself. I've got a multimeter that I'll bring up closer, and then I didn't have the original CT90 rear turn signal, so I just got a couple old ones, and I've got them kind of hooked in here. But I think I'll bring you guys in a little closer, show you this area. Let's test the turn signal switch and so forth, and then we'll move on to hooking up the rest of it and showing you how it works. All right, now I know some of you guys might be saying, oh no, Mike, not again. We've seen this 100 times, but and I understand that, but I'm really trying to help this guy, so just bear with me for a second. I think the first thing I'm going to do is actually test to make sure that the lights are good. So I've got my battery charger. I'm going to hook a ground because these lamps have just one wire, and they are grounded through the frame and the wiring harness and the body of the bike. So I've got got my ground on the handlebars. So hopefully if I touch, so that bulb's good. Orange is the left turn signal, and it's got a little orange plastic indicator there. This is light blue on this one, and that's the right. So yeah, we do have good bulbs in the signals. Okay. The next thing I want to test is the switch itself to make sure that it actually functions, that the contacts in here are clean and so forth. So on this particular bike, there's two different wiring harnesses that come down out of the handlebars. I'm looking for the one that comes from the left bar, and it will be the one that has specifically what I'm looking for are 3 wires, a light blue, an orange, and a gray. It's also going to have a blue and a white and a light green. That's for horn buttons and headlight dimmers probably and all that kind of stuff. But we don't need those for right now. We're just going to concentrate on these 3 wires. And basically what happens here is power comes from the bike up the gray wire to the switch, and then depending on if you have it on left or right, then comes back down either the orange or the light blue out to the signals. So the first thing I want to do is check the switch. I've got my continuity checker here. Got my multimeter, so these are the 2 leads from it. So if I touch these together, you may hear a signal. At least hopefully you'll see the screen change. So that means I am completing the loop between these 2 wires. So I'm going to hook one to the power feed wire of the switch. Now we should not get anything when touching either one of these. Get my fingers to work right. Nothing there, nothing there. Okay, I'm going to switch the turn signal switch to the left. We should not have anything on the light blue because that's the right signal. Nothing. Now you should see the meter change and if you can hear it, hear that beep. And if I go over here and I turn the switch back to the middle, it shuts it off. I go to the right, nothing, okay? Now, if we switch so we know that the left turn signal switch works. If we hook the wire to the light blue one and switch it to the right, now we have signal going to the right switch. So we know that the right signal. So we are pretty confident that the lights work and the contacts and everything in the switch all work. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the harness. And this is the harness that's coming out of the bike up into, and all these will probably be in the headlight bucket. For right now, again, we're only going to concern ourselves with just a handful of these wires. There's a light blue, and it's got a triple female bullet connector, and an orange, which also has that triple female bullet connector. And you're just going to match up colors here. So we're going to take the orange wire from the switch and plug it into the orange wire of the harness. We're going to do the same thing with the orange wire that comes from the left signal. Plug it into the orange. And then for the blues, we'll do the exact same thing. We'll take the light blue and plug in the two light blues. Okay. Now, if you find the gray wire from the switch, we could actually hook power to this. Got to ground the handlebars. And if I put power to that gray wire, when I turn this turn signal switch on, they should light up. They won't flash because we don't have a flasher in the system, but they'll come on. So I'm going to go to the left first. You should see this light light up. And it does. Go back to the center, turn them off, turn on that one. Awesome. So we know that the connection here between all the switch and the lights and the harness is good. So let me lay this back down out of here. So now we need to add a flasher into the system. So go back to this bundle of wires that are in the headlight bucket, and out of the harness here, there should be a gray with a single female bullet connector. It hooks to the gray switch, or the gray wire going up to the switch. Now I'm going to add in one more wire here because the handlebars aren't mounted to a bike. They're not really grounded, so these lights aren't grounded. So I'm going to run a jumper wire from anything that's a solid green is a ground. So I'm going to hook an alligator clip to that ground, and then I'm going to, let's clip it to somewhere on the handlebars. Okay. So like that. So now we've got the lights and the switch hooked into our harness. I think I'm going to have to reposition you guys so that you can then see what we've got going on back here. Hang on just a second. All right, I hope you guys can see everything, what I'm doing here, or not, at least I think his name was Jay or something on little Honda forum. I hope he can see it. So we haven't changed anything up here. Everything's still connected. We're going to move down the harness. I have the two turn signals in the back plugged into the light blue and orange. That's the same wire that's from up here. I've got those running to the signals. I've grounded. I've used a jumper wire to hook to the grounds because these lights use two wires instead of one. So I've run a jumper wire to ground them straight to the ground that would hook to the battery. So I'm going to take my negative from the battery and I'm going to hook it straight onto those. I've got a flasher in place. Now, since this harness is pretty complete, I'm just going to go ahead and hook the positive straight to where the positive of the battery would hook. You could bypass this and just hook it straight to the black wire on the flasher if you wanted to. what happens in these harnesses, it's red power back here at the battery, and it goes up, it's red all the way until it gets to the key, and then as it comes back, then for some odd reason, Honda splits it and makes all the power going out is black wires. So any black wire up in the headlight or down here you see going out to like brake switches and neutral indicator lights and the horn and this flasher, it's a black wire, and that's being fed from the battery. So we're going to hook our battery up. Okay. So now, hopefully, if I hit the left-hand turn signal, we should see these two lights come on and flash, because we've got a flasher in line. Took it just a second. Scared me for a second. I didn't think it was going to come on. So there, and you can, I don't know if you can hear it. The flasher is flashing. Now if I turn it off, and now we've got the right ones are flashing. Actually a pretty simple system. You've just got everything orange is for the left side, everything light blue is for the right side. The gray wire is what powers up to the switch, and it goes from black to gray at the flasher. You've got, well, here it is. It's still red coming out of the harness. I don't know if you can see that. Still red right here coming out of the harness, and then it goes to a black into the flasher, and then it comes out gray out of the flasher up through here, and then that's the gray wire that we've got plugged into the switch. And that's all you really need to do to hook them up to get them to work. So I hope that helps. Anybody else who happens to watch this, if you're having problems with your signals or whatever, hopefully that helps you. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments, and I will try and help you the best I can. But sometimes, like I said, just typing it all out in a form is a little more difficult. Sometimes it's just easier to show it in a video. So guys, thanks for following along, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a great day.